But the bank has washed away considerably since then. And it was only a mud road. And when we went to school, I can remember so plainly down here at the end of Miller Road today, we just had this clay road, and it was just narrow, just the tracks of the carts or the wagons, Democrat wagons. And the sweet clover was above our heads, and it grew right up to the tracks, on each side of the road. This sweet clover was terrible to walk through. You can't imagine what it was like. And today, the children have buses to take them.
When you walk to school now, which school are you talking about?
I'm talking about number 2 down here, and it was on the same lot that our museum is. But it was the frame school, the one that I sketched.
Right. We have that in the museum.
Oh, yes.
Sketch, yeah.
Well, that was the school that I went to.
And then you went to grade 8 at this little frame school.
I went here until I passed the entrance.
And then that was when you went on into high school?
Yes. And when I went to high school, I boarded with the Mrs. Brookfield that my father had known, the Brookfields. They came from Crowland.
No. George was just a little fella, because he couldn't get up on the, had a cupola up in the front. That was on the new school.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's on the new
But
school.
we went to the old one.
What was the old one like?
Oh, it was a wood school, all wood, and it was, well, built like you'd see the pictures of the old schools, and it is pretty old, and it had no basement, and the rats was prevalent under the floor, and they used to come up and run across the room, and of course everybody had lunch, and they'd little dip dabs all over. They'd come and get that. 1914. Yeah, it'd been 1914. Well, it was when the war, when all the soldiers came in to protect the waterfront. I think they came from Chippewa to Black Creek, and then from Black Creek to Fort Erie, and then that was the end of the line. I remember they used to come into the school to get warm. It was a terrible cold winter, and they'd come in and stand on both sides of the stove, line up 3 on each side, sergeant in the middle. That's how I remember there was 7.
Oh.
And then here these rats, one of them, and they were so strict. They couldn't talk to anybody. They just sit there, just stand there at attention. So then here the rat run across right through where they were, right kitty corner all the way across the school, and they had a giggle and laugh. That sergeant, he made them snap their attention. Out they went. They didn't dare do that.
Oh.
I never forget that. Everybody thought it was a mean thing to do, but that was the law. That is how they did things then.
You want me to read this?
Would you read this poem?
Right now?
Yes.
Willoughby is no more. We've opened a new door. But stories of the past we know will always last. We never can return to the early days we'd spurn. But when we joined the city, we felt it a great pity. But we'll let them know that we aren't slow. We'll stand up straight for Willoughby's sake.
And who was that?
That was November I did. Zettie Miller. November the 9th, 1971.
Thank you very much, Miss Miller, for all the time and the lovely things that you showed us.
Oh, you're entirely welcome.